New York to the heart, we got love for all. Die in the fire where I learned to ball.
That's a classic right there.
Place where I lay my dome.
I got some youngins. We got youngins in the audience. They don't know nothing about this. It's the youngins right here. Hey.
Player haters can feel the flame for my heater. I never really liked to play a fool like that, but I love to succeed.
I will let this rock for a little bit, but we gotta go ahead and get this thing started. Oh, you
I'm gonna just let you know.
You ain't know I knew about a little
bit. She always play like a minute and a half of the song. You don't know that brand new today, yo.
Listen, I was trying to get people got things to do. We rolling. We had a lot going on today. We got MAIA here. Come on now.
Yeah, true.
Go ahead, get talking.
Yeah,
I got questions. I'm nosy.
What up, y'all? Welcome to the Real Loving Basketball Show. I am your host, Daryl Tao.
And
with my lovely.
I am Lee Tao.
See, I was about to give you kudos and say it's my beautiful wife.
Excuse me. Let's start again. Let's go ahead and start again. Everybody go ahead.
All right, you ready?
Rewind it back. Go ahead. All right. Hold on. Let me go ahead. Okay. Let's rewind it. Go ahead. Here we go. Okay. Bring it back now. I bring it back now. Okay. Go ahead. All right. What's going on, everybody? It is that day today. What's popping?
Yeah. You got to do the introduction, though, man.
Go ahead.
Welcome to the Real Loving Basketball, yo. I am your host, Daryl Tao, with my beautiful and lovely wife, Leah Tao.
Oh, you've been pulling my full government all weekend. You know that?
Yeah, man.
Listen, only special people know full government, okay?
Okay. As we go live, you got a full podcast and
it's all good. Hey, y'all, how are you doing? It is Thursday, hopefully when y'all watch this. But we are sitting here with the Real Loving Basketball. We have got a special guest today. So normally, we open up with some current events. So real quick, I'll just give a quick little tidbit. We got MAIA here, Shaka. Got one of the best names right there. Just to let you know, Shaka Khan is my favorite. So when you put the two together, you just got a classic name right there. You know what I'm saying?
That's greatness right there.
You got greatness in the making. So when we start off with our podcast, we like to talk about a little bit of current events, but I'm going to highlight something we talked about last week because I need somebody to be on my side to get understanding, okay? So last week we talked about top rappers on the female side, right? We were going through a debate. I forget what prompted it. We were watching what? Oh, we were watching Joe Buttons. And Nicki Minaj was on his podcast. She was hot about some stuff. And she was like, I'm top 10. Hands down top 10 rapper. Which, for me, I could kind of agree. When you think about the women in the rap game, it's not really people who really change the dynamic of rap on the female side. Your boy said Cardi B's up there.
As a rapper.
That's what I said. I said Cardi B?
Yeah.
What is she talking about?
She make good music. No, don't get it twisted. I don't listen to like her album top to bottom. But she got some songs that I like. And I went to an album and I'm like, them filler songs, right? Like track 3, track 4, pretty dope. She talking about something.
No. Before we
on those particular tracks.
Let's listen to this just real quick. Let me give you this real quick. Just everybody just listen to this real quick. Okay? The beat goes.
Once upon a time and I heard that was
so right here.
Came from a chick who when I touch I said my face bomb, abs tight, rack stuck up shack height, jury on the flashlight.
Okay. It's so far good, right?
Make you wanna act right.
Now, I know that's right. When we get to these lyrics, when we get to this chorus, it goes up, and it's stuck. What was we talking about?
I don't know. I think that's like some slang, like in Atlanta, right? Like letting you know that when you popping, you ain't coming down. That's like some Atlanta slang.
That's it.
Yeah.
She cleaned it up.
I'm up right now.
You absolutely are. She cleaned it up. But what does she really be talking about on her songs?
You know what? Let me tell you this. I like Cardi. I'm not even gonna lie. I like Cardi. Is she a rapper? She's a great person to recite someone else's lyrics, and she does it very well. Mm-hmm. What she talks about her songs is whatever somebody writes for.
Right.
She's just a vibe. Like her music is a vibe to me. I'm not checking for her for lyrics. I'm checking for her so it can get popping.
Yep. So I can totally agree with that. She give you beats. She gonna give you some beats where you can ride and rock to.
But listen.
But she's not gonna lyrically say anything.
Look, to my point on track 3, 4, whatever the case may be. Like she talking about something, man.
What she be talking about?
Like how she grew up.
That's a generic
answer.
That's a generic answer.
man. You got
Whatever.
it, man.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to hear because we was going through this and I was like, yo, first of all, you did not listen to her CD. I know you ain't listen. Because the next day, I hear Cardi B bumping in the basement. I was like, really? Now you want to try to put...
See,
First of all, this is rare. I've never heard a dude really admit to like bumping Cardi though.
that's why I don't like doing shows
Like,
with
okay.
2-on-1, 2 females and one. Y'all back me in the corner. So what happened was I was listening to this new DJ Khaled album, Khaled, and the song came on by chance. And you eavesdropping, I'm all the way in the man cave. And she up there sending me a text talking about, oh, you listen to Cardi B.
That song
I was listening
was
to Khaled
loud.
album.
That song was loud. I don't know if you
And right
turned it
after
up
that,
just it's okay. So let's just, at the end of the day, Cardi is not on nobody's top 10. Can we agree to that?
Hey, fellas, this is where you bow out, man. I'm a smart man. I've been married 8 years, yo. Bow one out. That's it.
All right, man. All right, let's get roll. We got anything else to talk about? You want to do your vaccination spiel? Or we want to just go ahead and just leave it alone?
See, why you want to? Oh, you was coming hard today.
That's what we're supposed to.
Hey, Maya, look, we got company, we got an audience. Now she want to show out. No.
Now, when you go through the history, you already know this is norm. I got called.
We can talk about it. I mean, I think it's interesting. If you want to, So the thing is, they're asking, am I taking the shot? Nothing against people who does have their shot. How can I put this? I think it is some ulterior motives. Behind it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's money, whether it's different things. I heard Bill Gates talking about you want to depopulate the earth and stuff like that. Talking about the pandemic 5 years ago. I mean, it might sound outlandish, but it's some truth to it.
Bill Gates
the same
talking
way
about
our gas, we won't have gas right now.
Now that is
We run out of gas.
that is weird. But
We run out of money, you make money.
Back to Bill Gates depopulating. He ain't worried about Melinda coming up in them pockets, depopulating his pockets in a minute with this divorce coming through. I'm just saying.
Right. And don't get it twisted. I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. At all. I know some people who are, but some stuff is plain in your face and you can't deny it unless you're trying to not see it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of them things. But
it's different. It is different. It's different. Did you take the shot? Are you taking the shot?
I've taken the first vaccination 3 times. I never got the second one. It's crazy.
What?
I keep missing the second appointment, going out of town and traveling. So I think I'm super vaccinated for the first round. So yes, I will be taking my second vaccination very soon and I will be fully vaccinated. So.
if you put a magnet to your arm, if you took the shot, it'll stick.
Have you heard about that?
No, but I will tell you this, every single time I've gotten the first round, and here's a funny thing. I had got the first shot, I believe the day before I was supposed to go on the Today Show to announce that I was hired. And my entire face, my entire body broke out in a red rash.
Oh, wow.
That morning when I woke up, I was completely covered in a red rash. And so I was afraid.
Yeah.
Oh, see?
And so every time after I've taken the first vaccination, still I break out in a rash on my arm or somewhere else. So why I keep pumping that in my body? Who knows?
So I'm about to say, well, you better make sure you make this second round so you ain't got to go through this because 3 times is enough.
Right.
But anyways, all right. So let's get down to the juices and the berries of everything. We got MAIA Shaka on the Real Love and Basketball. We are excited to have you. We are blessed to have you. Give us real quick, who are you?
So I'm the first African-American woman to be hired by the National Football League to work as a full-time official for the 2021 season. I'm also a health and physical education teacher in Virginia Beach, a jack of all trades, I believe so, and a master of many.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Talk that talk.
Y'all heard it here. She said the master of many. So how does that feel? Like, for me, being a black female, making my own path through entrepreneurship, I'm also the first black female at the newly named John R. Lewis High School. Nice. You know what I mean? So we are doing things, being that inspiration to us. How does it feel to be on this platform now?
So it's weird. Like, I've never set out to this thing to break any barriers. I've just wanted to do what I love to do.
Right.
And it just seems so happen that I'm given that platform. And when you look at it, it's kind of surreal. Yeah. And that everyone's looking at you and they want you to be successful. Mm-hmm. And that makes you work just as 10 times harder than what you originally worked because you have a specific expectation to lead up to. And, eventually I want to make it so that we get tired of having to announce the first Black woman or the first Black this, the first Black that. It's now going to become normal to see Black women in leadership positions.
Right. Absolutely. Do you feel like you kind of got to eggshell stuff now that all eyes are on you? Because you got to think, like, you're definitely holding a new level of expectation. So when you're out, if people recognize you and all this do you feel like you got to kind of be in a little bubble, or you're like, I am who I am. It don't matter if I feel like flipping today, I'm a flip, and y'all just gonna deal with it.
A mixture of both. Like, just by nature, I'm a private person, so there's certain things I like to keep private. And then you guys are ballers, so y'all know y'all got that same hooper swagger to y'all. It's like y'all want the pressure. Like y'all want to guard the best player on the court. You want to be the person who all eyes are on you, because we perform better under pressure.
Right.
So that's my comfort zone. And I guess with me, I'm always authentically myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bend. I'm not going to change just to get a job or just to be friends with somebody.
Right.
I am who I am.
Right.
Love it or leave it alone.
Right.
And so as long as I continue to carry myself that way, I think I'll be okay.
Right.
And people normally, they really do respect my space for the most part.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Where do you get that grit from? Is it something that's just in you? That's how your parents was, and
being a middle child syndrome. Having an older sister that's 3 years older than me, a younger brother 2 years younger. So it's like, I'm not the youngest, I'm not the first boy, I'm not the first girl.
Right.
Just being able to create my own identity.
Yeah.
And so I was like hell on wheels as a kid. So
but
I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I'm gonna tell you what, it's that second child syndrome.
Yeah,
'Cause listen,
absolutely.
We have a number 2 now, and Lord have mercy. I don't know who they are, but they said number 2 is always going to give you a run for your money.
Yeah, that's
they
real. That's
is
real.
Right. So whoever they is, we need to have a sit-down conversation, because I need to understand what we about to come over.
That means you're going to create something great once they're older.
Ooh, Jesus, Mary and
That's
Joseph.
going to be a superstar.
Listen, we done got the first one and already took. This one is going to be a super something, that's for sure. That is absolutely for sure.
Yeah.
So with that being said, with your family background, tell us about that. What did your background look like?
So for me, growing up, I grew up like in a 2-parent household in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And so my parents, my father himself, he was pretty much a revolutionary. And he moved from Texas to California, became a part of the U.S. Organization of Blacks, which is pretty much with Dr. Maulana Karenga, and he helped spread the word of Kwanzaa from the West Coast to the East Coast. So I grew up in a household that was pretty much woke, like from the beginning. Like they were very much instilled into culture and Black history. Right. And they owned a bookstore in New York, like in Rochester, New York, where I'm from. And I watched my father take this bookstore from 1986. He opened up in our living room, and then I watched him flip it. We're in the hood, growing up in between pretty much 2 crack houses. And while people are pumping drugs, my pops is pumping books. Right. And so I'm like 4 years old, 4 years old, and seeing him spread this word, create his own store on, in the middle of the hood still, and then take that 500 square foot store and flip it to a 3,000 square foot store. Oh, wow. So I'm watching him do all this, between the ages of 4 and 11. And while all kids were going outside to play, after school, we'd have to go work in the store. Yeah. And so my father taught me pretty much how to be a cashier. That's where I got my work ethic from, my grind and my hustle, and all that grit came from there. But my father also struggled with mental illness and substance abuse. And in the Black community, late 80s, early 90s, mental illness is like taboo. You consider to be weak. Yeah. And so in order to really self-medicate with that, he started dabbling in different substances in order to sustain his work ethic, because he was working in a detention home, like in New York State. He was working with youth, like boys who were juvenile delinquents. And once they turned 18, he'd bring them home with them and give them jobs. So he was very invested in his community as well. And just to see him run ragged like that, and be worn to the ground, it took a toll on our family. Right. So he leaves, and then my mom is left to raise 3 kids on her own. But everything that he taught me as a child, like between the ages of 4 and 7, I can now see those things resonating with me to this day. Yeah. It was a struggle from the ages of 11 all the way on up to 21. It was a struggle. Yeah. My mom dealing with a depression, her not being around, me having to raise myself, me not having a lady to walk me through the lady things in life. That was weird. I pretty much raised myself. So that goes to another thing when you're talking about where's the grit come from. Yeah. So it really just comes from the background of just struggling as a youth. And so I just really turned to athletics and sports during that time. You know, just going to the Boys and Girls Club, finding somewhere to go, being involved in step, basketball, track, anything that I can do to make sure that I was always busy,
right?
You know, and not necessarily running around on the streets.
Right.
That's what my childhood was like growing up.
To go ahead.
Let me ask you something. So from 4 to 11, right? Did you find that weird or odd or annoying when your dad was trying to teach you how to be a cashier or having his bookstore? And I ask because with our own son, you try to put that pressure on and instill things in them that of value and take away things that you know they're not gonna need later on in life, whether it was traditionally stuck in us through schools or whatever, the media public, whatever we supposed to been doing. Did you find that weird or odd, or you was okay with it?
I was okay with it. It was our norm. Like, we didn't know anything else. Like, at that time, it was like, we go home, and like, our family had to be so tight because the neighborhood we grew up in was real seedy.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if I didn't have that in us when we were kids, you start running around in those neighborhoods, you'd be lost in the sauce like everyone else.
Right.
And so that was just something that was instilled with us in the beginning. I thought it was normal. I did think it was weird, though, that once we started to go to school and everybody's celebrating Christmas, I'm like, well, where's Kwanzaa? Like, we were very outspoken, like, as children then, when that stuff wasn't popular. Like, everybody's talking about equity now. That was not present, like, in the 80s and 90s. That was something that, you know, we had to bring to the table. You know, we didn't celebrate Christmas. We celebrated things like Malcolm X's birthday, May 19th. That's coming up right around the corner. We had days off from school, and we would throw parties for things like that. So my family was always against the norm. And to me, that was normal.
That's dope.
Yeah. I think it's needed, too, for our culture, to be honest with you. Because so many things, even with the church. Like, I was brought up in church, and my dad was a pastor, and, you know, doing all the things we thought was like it. But now we're older, we got our own families. We're like, yo, hold on, something like it's tradition. Like, you know, why you got to dress up early? Why you can't wear a hat in church? So all these things that was in us, I think we just need to do better as a culture and stand on what we believe versus saying, oh, this is what we supposed to do because whoever told us that. You know what I'm saying? I think that's super important for our culture.
I think it's also through experiences too. I think the way that you were raised helps you to formulate your own ideologies to put onto your own children, right? Absolutely. So like you said, your father had you from 4 to 7 in a bookstore working. You know, we do the same thing with our son when it comes to athletics and stuff. Like, this is what you want, you got to push. And then we also try to build the entrepreneurship aspect. But then at the same time, for me, growing up slightly differently where I didn't have to work so early, you know, get forced into working so much, but I had to focus on education and stuff like that. That's where I'm pushing a lot of my focus on, but then having balance. Because one thing you see a lot of kids nowadays, they're forced to do so much so early because they have so much at their fingertips, right? So now it's, where's the balance? We want you to do this. We want you to be the entrepreneur. We want you to be woke and understand, but then where can you also still be a child? You know what I mean? And embrace that whole lifestyle. So it's interesting. We like to ask these questions when we have our guests to see, you know, where that mindset came from to get you to where you are today. You know
I swear, I'd be like, yo, we're going to start a clothing business for you. For you right now, you want to write a book? Okay, let's do it. Why wait till like you 20 or 30?
Absolutely.
If you got the creativity to do it now at 10, why not?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Yeah, there is. I mean, there's a bunch of little millionaires running around here already. So
you're going to be in our house, you're going to do something. You ain't going to run my tail, but.
So with that background being said, and you said you started to dabble in the athletics and stuff, did you have the aspirations to referee was going to be it? Or was it going to be like you are going to go to school and I'm going to do undergrads and I'm going to do A, B, C, and D?
My very first dream was to be the first woman in the NBA. That was like my dream.
I think that was all of us who hooped as females. That was all.
I'm gonna get it. I was like 12. I actually said that like in my New York 6th grade was the end of elementary school. I say that in my 6th grade graduation speech. Everybody has recorded. I'm gonna be the first girl in the NBA. Like, that was like legit my dream.
Right.
But like the thing was, my family was also big on higher learning, higher education. You know, like that was something that was it was very rare for, African Americans to do at that time. But one thing that was taught in the store, we would have so many different like Greek organizations, like Black Greeks, like the Kappas would come meet, and the Deltas would come meet there. Like it was a good cultural spot for meeting.
Right.
And then we would meet so many different people who were in higher education, who were in that college world. So we were exposed to that at a young age with representation. Then on top of that, you know, you had A Different World on TV and the Cosby Show where they really pumped the HBCU culture.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that was something that was always ingrained in us. You're going to go to college.
Right.
How you're going to get there, what you're going to do, that's up to you. But this is going to be an option for you. It was never painted as being taboo for us.
Right.
So after I decided to be the first woman in the NBA, it was always my dream to be able to go ahead and play like Division I college basketball or hoop on somebody's squad.
Right.
You know, me being in high school and being a knucklehead I was at the time, it didn't really pan out like that. So, so it was crazy.
So you end up going to college. Tell everybody what college you went to.
So I got my degree. Well, I ended up graduating from Norfolk State University. Okay. Behold, the green and gold, right? Hey, go ahead, drop something. Come on, bro.
Man, boo.
Hey, you know what it is. You know what I mean?
So I'm an ODU grad. So this is our...
I guess we'll accept you.
Right. I guess it's 2-on-1 today.
Come on.
I guess we'll accept you.
ODU people hit us up. You already know what it is. I'm saying y'all be all on our campus. Let's be honest.
Y'all be all on our campus.
I mean, listen, I be in a sweatbox. I ain't gonna lie to you. So.
As long as you ain't over there in the towels and the hoop jump.
Oh my God.
You're right.
So you did that. Then what? After you graduated?
So right after I graduated, I ended up teaching health and phys ed in Virginia Beach Public Schools.
What did you get your undergrads in?
Health and physical education.
Okay.
So while I was studying at Norfolk State, I actually went and I started minoring in like some athletic training and some personal training and nutrition. And so I just wanted to do as much as what I could do with my degree and find out exactly what I can do and not just be a teacher so I can generate other streams of income.
That's true.
And
That's what's
so
up.
as soon as I graduated, I started teaching. And one of the teachers I was teaching with was actually officiating high school football. And he said, this is a nice side hustle.
Yeah.
You should try officiating football. I said, no, I'm going to do basketball. I don't know anything about football. He goes, no, I think you really should do football. There are no women that are doing it. I said, no, I'm not doing that sport. I said, that is dumb. I said, and you're outside, and you have to wear a hat, and you got to wear those stupid white pants. I'm not doing it.
And you got to run up and down this darn field and take up. Listen,
yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot going on.
He says, well, you should do football first because the training class is first. Basketball comes next. He said, you can do two sports.
Right.
And I was like, man, I guess I ain't got nothing else to do.
Okay.
So that's how that happened.
Okay.
And it just took off from there.
So you started off did you start off with like Pee-wee football or did you go right into high school?
I started off doing JV football during the week. And then on the weekends, I'm always at the Sportsplex doing those Mustang games, the Pop Warner stuff.
Gotcha.
So I did that every Saturday. At the end of my first year, they let me work my first varsity game. I think I was at Indian River, I believe that. Yeah, Indian River's game. And I got good reviews from the coaches. And then right after that, they put me a full varsity schedule like the following year, which was crazy.
Nice.
And the year after that, I worked the state championship.
So did you just forget basketball after that?
At that time, yes, because football was just taking off.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with just learning all the nuances and just being challenged with having to understand this game.
Right.
I just wanted to concentrate on that because
Right.
I knew I could always fall back and do basketball.
Right.
That's how you know you walking in your calling when things just kind of happen
Yeah.
organically and it happened. You elevating, going from something that you never even wanted to do to be at the top of the top is amazing. You know
And for you, like you said, just to be a nice, easy transition. I mean, I'm sure there was some obstacles, but it just seems like you just rolled and you jumped in it and just started going.
Hey man, when doors open, I don't question them. I'm just like, all right, let's get it. So it's like that's kind of like how we have to be as people. I don't second guess myself or put a limitation, or I don't have any fear when it comes to opportunity. If I see it opening, I'm going for it.
Right.
Period.
Sure.
So
Were you always the only female in almost most of your settings?
everything, yeah. So especially growing up, like, and it's always been natural to me to be around the guys.
Right.
Because none of the children in my neighborhood at the time were my age.
Yeah.
Were girls.
Yeah.
They were all boys.
Yeah.
So I just went outside and rumbled with the boys, and they never turned me down.
Right.
Maybe because I was busting them up so bad on the court.
You gotta give them respect. You gotta give them respect.
or something, you know, or maybe they just like being around me. But
I want to see if you can hoop, man. We're gonna do 21.
man, I'm washed up now, so we can play horse. We can play horse. We can play 3-point shootout.
Yeah.
I'm not running or jumping. And so there we go. So what you got on?
Swing you the ball. it. You take the shot.
Absolutely.
Like, it better be a good shot too. I'm gonna give you one chance. And
Absolutely,
hit that
man.
backboard,
These
I'll be like,
knees-
all right, let's keep her where she's at so she don't lose this title. But that's dope. I mean, I think just a woman breaking barriers, like that's always been a goal. Daryl, through everything that we've been doing, has me doing so many other things that I know God has purposed me to do, and he's challenged me to get out of my skin. But it's also part of me has always been, like you said, young. I'm hooping, I'm going to the NBA. What you mean? It's gonna be the first one. None of us have doing it, right? But then now at the age that I'm at, it's like I want to be the first female coach to coach on the boys' side at this. You know what I'm saying? So those different things that you see and understand it, and then you being able to actually go through this and get to the highest of the highest professionally, like it's like, oh yeah, well listen, shoot, y'all ain't gonna tell me nothing when I'm ready to do what I feel like doing. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think that's totally dope. Were you about to say something?
Nah, I was saying, man, when it's possible, anything's possible, man. But you got to be willing, though, man. A lot of people ain't really to bet on themselves and take risks. At the end of the day, a lot of people out there are scared. They want to do it, but they're like, man, what if I fail? You know what I'm saying? Or I don't have the money, or I don't supposed to be doing it. But man, if you got a vision and you go at it, you relentless, there's no stopping. There's no stopping.
What obstacles did you face thus far?
Man, where should I begin? So I will say this. When I first got into college officiating, you're supposed to go to like these little camps or clinics or like these meetings where you meet these supervisors and they watch you work. And so the very first one that I went to, it was somewhere in the mountains in Virginia. And we all know what color that is out there.
Right.
So I go into this meeting, there's 122 officials there. And I walk in, there's only one other black official and I'm the only woman.
Oh, wow.
So the minute that I walk into the door, everyone who's sitting at their tables, they take their chairs and they push them up like on top of the table to make it seem like there's seats taken.
Yeah.
So I walk in, I'm like, ain't this a blip?
Oh, man.
And so me being naive, I didn't know. I went and I sat at the reserve table because that was the only seat that was open.
Right.
Like, with all the keynote speakers where they're supposed to sit. And I
Right.
just sat there, just, chilling.
Right.
One guy just walks up next to me and he starts talking to me, an older white man, Gerald Austin, who is he works for the Raiders now for Coach Gruden. He was an NFL official for 27 years.
Okay.
Highly decorated Super Bowl official. He sits next to me and just sparks up a conversation. We don't talk about football at all. So at that point, I'm just thinking, this is the old dude trying to hit on me.
Right.
Like, what is going on? Like, so I guess maybe he's just like trying to understand my mental and just how I'm able to communicate and if I'm articulate enough, which is a huge part of being an official.
Right.
And so I'm just talking to him, just not knowing. And all of a sudden they say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker, Mr. Gerald Austin. He gets up. He goes, okay, kid, I got to go. And so I'm like, what did I just say to this man? I just said some stuff that was just off the chain. Just me being authentic and me being myself. So I guess he fell in love with that personality and he offered me a position to work in Conference USA. He'd never even seen me work on the field.
Wow.
But he says that just by knowing my personality, he knew I would be coachable.
Yeah.
And he also said, growing up or coming up through this area will be very hard for you because you will not have opportunities. Yeah. And he saw it. I guess he saw when I walked in the room how everybody moved their tables, moved their chairs.
Right.
And I jumped straight from a high school field straight to a Division I field because he protected me from that.
That's dope.
So that was the first obstacle. But going along the way, there's so many more of those stories that there are things that are going on behind the scenes that you can't really put your finger on, but things are being said. Yeah. Things are being done, but you kind of just have to keep focused on what the end goal is.
Yes. So, listen, let me tell you how you just hit on so much stuff. So you, on our show, we do faith, family, business. Faith is big. And for you to speak on how, for one, we emphasize to our kids all the time.
I know you
never know who's watching.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you're out here on these courts, when you're hooping, when you're doing your sport, when you're even just your social media presence, you never know who's watching. So when you're next level, what you're trying to do, you're trying to obtain, you got to be on your P's and Q's at all times because you just never know, right? So for you to just literally be authentic and be passionate about what you're talking about to a man you don't even know, but you're being genuine and you're being respectful. that right there was the opportunity that you might have never ever got if you would have been hard nosed and not paying attention.
Yep.
And, you know what I mean?
Or not being yourself.
Right, or
Yep.
not being yourself. But then the other side, just faith. Like, listen, God knows what he's doing. And like you said, when you're focused on what you're supposed to be doing in your lane, and you're not worried about, oh, she's doing this or he's doing this, or all these people in here just flip chairs and I'm worried about what they worried about. You just focus. It's amazing what happens when you're laser focused and you just push through. You know what I mean? Those type of things. So I think that's amazing. And for you to jump like that right there also testifies to the whole, you don't have to be qualified. You just have to be anointed. You know what I mean? You just have to have that touch. You do not have to be qualified to be in positions. For you to go from high school to D1 without the steps, just because somebody covered,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Just say you had a covering.
Qualified into like resume wise,
Right.
Your experience and your skill gotta be up the par.
But you was probably just jumped right into it, embraced it, and got the rolling, right?
Well, I will tell you this. While I was working high school football and me not knowing, the guys who I worked with on my high school crew, they were all college officials. So they taught me how to work a high school game like it was a college game. And they started giving me the college rule book after my second year of officiating high school football. And so they were already preparing me. So I'm not trying to say I was super prepared to work a Division I field, but you're not, because the athletes are just bigger, faster, stronger.
Right.
And so the speed was the biggest adjustment for me.
Right.
But just being able to know where to look and know the rules of the game, I had all that there. But I just didn't have, dealing with instant replay and all my calls being overturned.
Right.
That's another crazy story in itself. But it's just those nuances is what I needed to gain experience with. And he threw me in games where he knew there would be blowout games, big brother versus little brother.
Yeah.
And he knew that me being in that game wouldn't affect the outcome.
Yeah.
And so he allowed me to learn.
Right.
And so I'm just grateful for that opportunity.
How important is it, do you feel, being surrounded by the right people?
Man, that is the main the main key to success, especially in officiating or at any job. Like when you're working on a team.
Yeah.
If you're working on a team with people who they are against you, they will find ways to weed you out.
Yes.
Or they will try to control your narrative and paint this image of you to the higher ups.
Right.
To make everybody treat you like an outcast.
Right.
So it's so important that you're around people who are supportive, or if you're not around people that are supportive, that you have enough power to create your own narrative.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as women and as minority women, it's really hard for us to do that in corporate America without being painted out as being aggressive or being some other choice words.
Right.
It's that fine line between being assertive and being aggressive that I had to figure that out on this level.
Yeah. You know what I find frustrating as being a black woman, a black woman is the support.
Mm-hmm.
So like, in our area, from where we live and where we're from, there is very few black head coaches at the high school level, female-wise. And for me, my mindset is, man, if you came on and I've been in this position and you're now the newbie at another high school, let me holler at you. Let me know if you need or whatever. Mm-hmm. Let me guide you in this whole, because different levels when you're doing high school, different things to college and all that kind of stuff. There's different mindsets, there's different understandings. There's even like I'm getting hip to like certain coaches before games, they'll rap to you, the old heads, but it's to get you as a coach out of your, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just you're talking to me, I'm new. And then I'm getting hip, now 5 years in, like, oh, this is game. Okay.
Yep,
so now, but for me, it's kind of frustrating because I'm always looking at the platform that I'm on now. Hey, what can I do to help you? Because at the end of the day, I'm not worried about the come up. I'm worried about keeping legacies and opening and breaking barriers. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
How important do you think it is, or do you find that the support system amongst us is tough?
So let me touch on a few things with that. And it's crazy. So we opened up the show talking about female rappers.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of that syndrome, like women are always pitted against each other, and it's not necessarily the women that create it.
Yeah.
It's the guys that create it because they think that there can only be a spot for one. Like you can go way back from the Foxy Brown and Lil Kim.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
Cardi B and Nicki.
Right.
Yeah.
Nicki and Kim. Like they think there could only be one queen, and
Right.
that is the absolute furthest from the truth. And I think to debunk that myth, that's up to us as ladies.
Yeah.
And it's tough when there's really only, at the time, there's really only one position and room for one. Everybody wants that spot.
Right.
And so that's your competitive nature in you. But what we have to realize is if we constantly work hard to empower each other and we build our own network, now they have to choose. We're going to have to make them choose more than one.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you and I are more qualified than him to get a job, they're going to have to get both of us and leave him out.
Right.
So but that can only happen if we reach down and we help somebody else along the way.
Right. So now you're at the NFL level. What kind of things are you seeing now that is making you, this is gonna be dope, or this is gonna be something interesting? Because I mean, especially the times that we're in. You know, so many people got something to say. We're going through the Kaepernick stuff. We're going through all the craziness that's happening. Now you're bringing a whole brand new different barrier. Even though at the presidential standpoint, we just had that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? With Kamala Harris, like what now are you seeing? What now are you ready for? Are you anticipating? Like what's going on?
So with me, anything I'm involved in is going to be dope. So that's just the way I feel. So I'm like welcoming all pressure. And so I look at this as an opportunity. Okay, they already have Sarah, who's there as the first woman. She's gone through some things, and we've talked, and she shared those experiences with me.
Oh, that's good.
My experiences are going to be different than hers. I know this. And so now I'm going through these experiences, and I have to navigate these waters correctly to create more opportunities for the next person that comes behind me. So everything I'm going through now, I have to fill those holes and go back and teach and train all these young ladies that I now brought into this game that I'm trying to groom to bring up behind me. A cool little fact is every time I leave a spot, like wherever I'm at, like when I was in Conference USA, before I went to the Pac-12, when I left my spot in Conference USA, I always made sure it was filled by another black woman.
Oh, that's dope.
And while I was in Conference USA, or while I was working Division I football, I think I've gotten 6 other women hired to work Division I football. So
that's tough.
I never feel like I have competition.
Yeah.
I've always felt like as long as I maintain my level of excellence, they have to always catch up with me. I'm not insecure about any of that.
Right.
When I left the Pac-12, I'm now currently looking for somebody else to fill my spot that looks like me. That's just the way that I roll. And it's like if somebody's going to fill my spot, it's going to be somebody that I've trained and I've put on and I've prepared them to take my space.
That's what I was about to say. You got training videos or something? Like, we wanted to get into it. If a female wanted to get into this and you now breaking these barriers, is like, can I like Google the MAIA Shaka
really,
class, or how
okay, so I'm going to tell you what happens is as soon as you join your high school board, and no lie, as soon as a woman gets on the field and she starts working football, all these guys start hitting me up. Hey, have you heard of this girl? It's like the hotline. I'm like the gatekeeper for like women referees now, it seems.
That's
so
dope.
It's like, no, seriously. And I do have a young lady right now that somebody just introduced me to maybe 2 weeks ago when I was in Texas. And now she's under my wing and she's hitting me up left and right.
That's
and we're talking.
dope.
She's like 25 and she lives in Carolina. So it's like, I'm going to do whatever I can do on my end to make sure that she's successful in every single step that she's at. So there's not a web page or something you can reach me, but trust me, once you get into this avocation, and it can even be basketball, because basketball officials know everybody as well. Like I'm a very well-known official. I'll find you. So you don't have to seek me. You will be found if you're really taking it serious. There's also a women's group. Let me plug this real quick. Mind if I plug this?
Plug it in.
There's a women's and officiating group that meets every other Sunday on Zoom. We can drop that information for you guys somewhere on their chat.
It'll be in the chat box, in the subscriptions, in our social media.
We'll put it down there.
We'll blast it out for you. That's dope. Yeah, I have one of my really good. You probably know her. Shout out to Tony. You know Tony Patia?
Yeah, Tony Patello.
Yeah. So that's my homegirl. So we used to, me and her best friend used to play semi-pro together, and then we all got connected. But Tony, like, she came up and did WNBA for the Mystics and hollered at me and was like, "I got tickets, come out." And I thought it was so dope. Like, and let me tell y'all, I commend y'all referees because listen, the way my attitude is, my patience is short, and the way people be snapping. Like, have you dealt with like the whole in your face or coaches snapping off, and like what is that like?
Yeah, so it depends. Like if it's basketball, I'm teeing you up all day. It's like, yo, it's not even a question. When it's football, it's like as long as you don't like basketball and football are completely different in that avenue.
Yeah.
Because you can't hear what anybody is saying to you in football because there's so much outside noise. Basketball, you can hear it. So in football, it's like you can be in my face, yell, scream, whatever you want. As long as it doesn't get demonstrative, you throwing a clipboard, throwing headphones, or calling me out my name, we're good.
Yeah.
Because it's just a different kind of sport, a different kind of energy, a lot of testosterone, a lot of Red Bulls being drunk on the sideline. So it's just like through the roof. So you just have to sit there and take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's crazy. Like just being able to deal with those different personalities day in day out.
So let me get a little diggy.
Uh-oh, she do that.
So what is it? Do you feel? Let's tell you about TV shows, right? Sometimes they be like on TV shows, the only way for you to make it up these ladders is as a female, you gotta be a little extra cute. You gotta be a little sassy. You gotta be a little, hey Jimbo, right? Right. But have you gotten to that point where sometimes somebody has been like, oh yeah, you can get to this, but have you seen those type of platforms?
Oh, absolutely. I've had so many propositions and people approach me about certain things about me being approached in like inappropriate situations. I've even had a situation where somebody came into a hotel room because we have to share hotel rooms after a game and shower sometimes. I'm the first one in. And then after I shower, the rest of the guys go in so we can get to the airport.
Right.
I've had situations where I've had guys bust into the hotel room with the key. Like when I'm legit, like I don't hear them.
Right.
But I'm showering, and then when I come out, like they're there.
Right.
And I'm just like, yo, bro. Like seriously. Like,
So what do we do on this? What happens? You cuss them out? You fight? What we doing?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. And then so right there, that is a real tough situation because this is really weird as a woman. If you go and you talk about that to the higher ups or record it, sometimes you can be blackballed.
Right, and that's
and
why
it's like
difficult to work with.
That was a very weird situation that I was in, and the way that I handled it, I was just very stern and assertive with what I had to say.
Right, and
I think I scared him a little bit. And it didn't happen again with that individual. Right. But guys are guys. Guys are always going to test you.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when you're the only woman around and you're in this, camp
bubble,
where there's nothing but guys.
Right.
You're going to start looking like Beyonce. So it's going to happen. But, as long as you stay authentic to yourself and they don't get that vibe from you, they're like, all right, cool. Everybody's going to try. Yeah. If they don't try, they're not a man.
Right, right.
You really can't get offended. You're like, oh, y'all think I'm cute?
Right.
Oh, y'all think I'm cute?
Right.
Gotta leave it alone.
No, but that's good to know, though, because I know that can be a hindrance or make females nervous as they continue to climb the ladder. Especially corporate America, we done seen so many crazy stuff at the, with a lot of just people, just put it like that, with a lot of mess that's gone on that's been exposed, you know what I mean? And females trying to get it. So, that can be kind of touchy-feely. Like, do I really want to go here if I have to go through these type of doors, to get to where I want to go? Because it's very few of us who are making it to next levels like that. You know what I mean?
I think it'll work in your favor, actually, because knowing your personality, how you grew up and how you handle yourself, the men gonna start to respect you, though.
Absolutely.
Like, she
well,
knows
that's
what
her.
she's talking
Yeah.
about.
But what about the rest of the ones that are just going through?
I mean, they gotta hold their own.
You gotta be solid in your job.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
that's
now.
for sure.
As long as when you're solid in your job and you can perform, you control your narrative.
Yep.
And there's no denying. You cannot deny talent
Right.
if you're solid. And if one job closes the door on you, then that place wasn't the opportunity for you. Something else will open up for
sure.
you as long as you're solid.
For sure. How is your family supporting you now with everything that's going on?
Man, they asking me for money left and right. Like I'm balling. Hey, ask yourself like I play in the league. They're like, oh, let me get a new car. I'm like, what? No, nah, that's joking. Serious, no, but a little bit. But my family is very supportive of what I do. They're very respectful of like my boundaries. I ask them not to post certain things or discuss something, but they really don't understand. my schedule throughout the day.
Right.
They still think that I'm just chilling.
Right.
They don't understand how much work goes into it, and I still work a regular job, so they're upset sometimes that I don't answer their phone calls or I don't have time for them, but it'll come.
So you say you still in Virginia Beach Public
I'm
Schools?
still in Virginia Beach Public Schools.
So how dope is that? You gotta be like the go-to. I need Coach Miss Shaka as my teacher. Like, how dope is that everybody is like recognizing you? Do people know?
Yeah, they know. I'm like Tupac in my school.
I
It's crazy.
Is it constantly? Can we lunch? Can we hang out? Can we chill?
But even before all this, popped off with this recognition, I was always that type of teacher anyways. Like students just loved being around me. I love being around the students.
Yeah.
I'm a student first type teacher. So whatever they need, I'm there for them.
Right.
It's a servant profession.
Yeah.
I'm there for them. They're not there for me.
Yeah.
And so prior to that happening, that was already there in existence. Now, after this announcement's being made, most of my kids were just like, yo, that is so dope. Like, I knew you would do it. Like, they're posting it all over Instagram and all over the place. So that's cool. And then you have the students who are new, who don't really know, and they walk by you almost like a fishbowl, and they just like staring. I'm like, yo, what, you want a selfie? I can get a selfie?
Right.
I'm like, yeah, man, I want to get a selfie. Like, you know what I mean? Make me, keep me popping. Keep making me go viral. Post this real quick. Hashtag GOAT or whatever you want to call it. So, I mean, I get a lot of love from the students, a lot of love, like, from my colleagues and my coworkers, the other teachers. They're very supportive.
That's tough. You ever gonna just focus on one? Or are you gonna always keep the balance?
She doing the Boo Williams, man. Boo Williams still a State Farm agent. They got a $13 million facility.
Listen, as long as I can work both, and where I'm working will be flexible and will be able to be, work with my schedule.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem doing both, because football is really on the weekends, and my passion still is the youth and still giving back to the community that way and being able to create future leaders.
It might be time for you to just open up your own school.
It might be.
I mean,
what y'all want to do?
Listen, I'm with it. Listen, we all for all this. We are all about the servanthood. Shoot, go ahead, get the MAIA Shaka going. Supported, sponsored by the Real Loving Basketball. Here we go.
It's needed. LeBron doing it. I mean, he's doing it at a higher scale, but it can be done.
I mean, this is a perfect area too to get stuff like that going. There's so many students, so much talent, so many athletes, so much knowledge. It's a lot going on here that just needs, outside of Boo, be dope. I mean,
and people too they can relate to that ain't 60 or 70 years old. Somebody that's a young adult who can relate to them, speak their language, but at the same time you be firm, but you be fair. You know what I mean? Be cool, but at the same time you got to handle your business.
Absolutely.
I mean, I just think she is the first NFL black female referee. Do you know how
crazy.
dope that's
It'll
like?
never be another though.
No, it would be another.
No,
another first. Yeah,
like,
absolutely. You're the first. That's like.
Have it hit you yet?
Nah, not really.
Right.
Not really. So it's just, and I think that's part of me just still being humble about everything and not letting everything go to my head.
Yeah.
So I think it might hit me probably during that first game or something.
Right. But two, I think it's important, like, to really just sit back and take that time and be like, yo, dang, I'm really here and I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like, when we interviewed you for the Boo Doc, I'm on the move so much just doing it. I had to sit back like, yo, I'm doing it though.
Yeah,
you see what I'm
exactly.
saying? Like, there's something, it goes from a thought or something you wish for and hope for, but when it's here
and you actually executing it.
Executing it, like, you gotta take that time to soak it in, because it's like, yo.
I'm a big advocate of that. Taking moments, taking a moment to just like, hey. For a hot second, you got to, because you don't want to leave and then be like, dang, I ain't never take that moment to actually reflect on what I just did. Like, you literally broke a barrier. Like, your name is in the history books. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something to, girl. Get around, shoot.
Right,
you broke a
barrier.
Yes, that is amazing. It is going to be in the history books as, as an athlete, as we continue to break barriers just as a culture. Your name is now stamped. The first like NFL.
It's hard. I think it's probably hard because you on the grind trying to, like, get to that spot, and you so used to just trying to make it happen and making it happen that it's like another kind of milestone. Is that correct? Or
for the most part, and it's the same thing as being, like, if you're an athlete and you get drafted, you make it to the league. Like, okay, you prepared for this moment.
Yeah.
But you don't really take time to really know exactly what it is until you hit that first game.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you really understand it's real when you got somebody to check you and be all up on you like, dang, like welcome to the league.
Right.
So I haven't really had that welcome to the league moment yet. So I guess when I had that moment, it's gonna be like, okay, wow, got my work cut out for me. Because I know it's coming, you know, and that's the reason why I'm trying to keep kind of humble about it, because I know that moment's gonna come where it's just going to be a total reality check.
Right.
I got to focus.
Has any of the players reached out to you and you know, been like, hey, you know, welcome, this is amazing. Holla at me if you need any help or anything like that?
No.
Really? That's a shocker. I would have thought.
Why?
I mean,
Players don't like refs.
yes and no, but there's some of them that have been making, you know, grounds and so many people speaking out and everything like that. I would think that your new platform would be something like we want to protect our own type
So
thing.
I will tell you this though, when I do go to events or training camps and I am around players and coaches, they reach out then because it's a professional atmosphere and they can say what they need to say. Like they don't want the lines to be blurred by them reaching out to me personally, thinking that they'll possibly sway my decision in the game. So it's a total different beast. So I don't want any of them players sliding in my DMs right now. if I do see a player in my DMs, I will not respond. I'm saying that right now, so don't even try.
That's funny. That's funny. So what is your message to our future females in America? What would be a message for us trying to break barriers for the young ladies coming up behind you?
You have to have confidence. Like your self-confidence has to be through the roof. Yeah. And just understanding your worth and your value and not wanting to accept less than what you're worth. And that's not even coming up like in, you know, professional America. That's just coming up as being a young lady, period. Yeah. You know what to accept like from a guy or from whoever, or, you know, that's just who we have to be. And so once you understand that and you understand, you know, the importance of you needing to be respected by other people, and the decisions that you make, you don't necessarily want to go out to make decisions just to have friends or just to be involved in a clique. Yeah. You know, you want to make these decisions so that you'll be respected down the road. And all that comes just from having that self-confidence, being prepared and having that self-awareness.
Right. That's good. That's good.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, you in the NFL now. What's your ultimate goal? Do you have other things that you're passionate about, or, you know, seeing your vision like, yo, I want to do this after the NFL or during the NFL.
What does your future hold?
Man, there's so many things that I just want to do all together with helping out young ladies and women. Especially we have like this weird age group of girls between the ages of like 17 and 21 who are adults who aren't adults yet and don't really have enough resources to be successful, and they don't really know how to get there. I just really want to be able to target that age group to kind of sort of scoop them up and to show them, okay, this is how you now become a successful adult. And so I just want to do anything that I can do to help even the playing field, like for any of these people that are coming up with socioeconomical disadvantages. Yeah. You know, and then helping to bridge that gap. Yeah. You know, I think that I'm a perfect advocate, someone that's able to do that, because I'm the only one where I'm at, which is corporate. And it's the corporate of the most corporate that you can get. Right. But I'm still very connected to the grassroots level. Yeah. And so it's just, I feel I'm obligated to take all the knowledge that I'm learning up top and funnel it back down and provide resources for everybody else who really needs it.
Yeah, that's good. What about are you a big advocate on people ensuring that they get their education?
Absolutely.
Because with everything that's going on, thinking about how times have changed where education is important. However, what we're learning doesn't necessarily correlate to what our future holds. And it could be so many different things. So like a lot of kids now aren't going the collegiate route. We're going straight into entrepreneurship. We're going straight into certifications to focus on exactly what our heart desires. Are you still, listen, you need to go to college.
So here's the thing. If you are an entrepreneur and you have a certain skill set and you have a talent, sometimes college can't teach you that talent. However, college can teach you how to manage that talent, and it can teach you how to network for that talent. Yep. Right. So maybe fresh out of high school, college isn't an option for you then, because maybe you need to generate income. And with all the platforms now that are out there for people to become their own entrepreneurs and to generate their own income, that might be your first step.
Yes.
However, it should always be in your mind that you need to go back and get some type of education to support that.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing like that piece of paper that looks that much better for you to support the talent that you have.
Yeah.
You know, everybody can't be a LeBron.
Right. Yeah, that's what I say. You hear that? My little ones out there. You hear that?
Yeah.
Going to school.
Right.
No, that's smart. That's smart. And I definitely, you know, I just wanted to make sure that people hear it from your platform, from your mouth, to be able to understand, like, there's steps to this thing. A lot of people think that people, like we always say, that we live in a popcorn society, right? Kids look at it, oh, they made it, I can do it. Not realizing the work that they put in to get to that position, and they got to go through steps. It's a process, and you just told us a whole story on how your process got you to where you are today. Anything's possible, but you got to, like you said, the biggest word, stay focused.
Absolutely.
Right? Stay focused on the whole thing.
So we on a Real Love and Basketball show. It won't be, and I'm not asking this because I mean, you know, love life. You single, dating.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
I've just thought it. I mean, it is Real Love and Basketball. I'm just asking.
I'll just say yes.
That's like saying, how old are you?
Right.
They don't do that. Just
I always want to say, you know what I mean, I'm a host now. I see it on TV a lot, so you know what I mean. I thought it was
Here goes the thing. If you say you single and dating, all the people that you don't like will be the ones that's coming for you.
right, all in your
That's
down
true.
low.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Then when you say that you're taking, all the people that you do want start coming for you. It's weird. It's like a weird thing.
That is true.
But that's,
We all know. We all know.
Right.
Nah, let me stop.
Right.
we got a couple. I put you on a couple people. You know, just holler.
She
We'll
the
talk
she the
off
master.
Yeah, we-
She the master connector
I am
right
a master
there.
Cupid. I'm just saying, you know, I read and I know how to connect. But outside of that, I mean, what else you got for us as we close out? What you got to? What do you want to leave us with on a Real Love and Basketball show?
No, I had an amazing time here. Like, I really appreciate the conversation. You guys were able to dive deep into some topics I haven't disclosed, and that was real cool.
Oh, thank
I
you.
really enjoyed this experience.
Oh, well, we
appreciate
appreciate you
it.
being
Yeah.
here. Listen, I tell Daryl is the one who gets everybody in my presence, and then I just take over. He is the master connector, so I'm very grateful for having you here. I was excited when I didn't get to come down here the first time when they was on the Boo Williams, and I was like, oh, we just inviting people and not hollering at. I'm up here working, and we just got people just coming and showing off. Okay. So when he told me we were going to get on the podcast, I was like, bet, all right, we're going to go ahead and rock this. So that's dope. I'm definitely grateful for you. I'm definitely honored. I mean, like I said, your name's in the history books, bro. Like,
You on your way too? What you talking
listen,
about?
you
You doing
right,
things on your
listen,
level?
or you touch greatness. Listen, you great. Let me get a little bit of that greatness and sprinkle it over here. So y'all can get my name next. Go ahead, Leah Tao, since we're going ahead and do the full government. Okay? Thank you very much.
Now
I'll be
it's
next.
cool now.
I mean, if I'm gonna be in the history books, I'm gonna make sure it's LEIA. Y'all spell it right, okay? Get me up in there. But no, I definitely appreciate it. I'm grateful. We're grateful for you to have on the podcast. I know our son was super excited to see you again, and just definitely appreciate it. And I mean, keep breaking barriers, bro. Like, now I'm ready to see, and just make sure when you ref for the Ravens, you make sure you on our side, okay?
Oh,
Just,
there she go.
Is that what you
The
said?
Ravens talk.
I'm just saying. They need to take me back home to a chip, man. We ain't seen no chip in a nice little minute. I'm tired of these little boring games. No offense to all the Chiefs and all these people out here, but I need some real games going on. But anyways, that's it. What we got on the Real Love and Basketball, guys. We really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for supporting, and many blessings to you moving forward.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
No problem. Anytime.
All right. Peace
See
out,
y'all.
y'all.
Till the next time, y'all.